Hi, writers. How are you? Okay, so this is our writing workshop time. It's a little bit different than Miss Fakori's still learning how to get the camera right. So just give me a couple days and then I promise I'll figure it out. Um, so this is our writing workshop time. It's the same as if I would have you gather over to the carpet for about 10 minutes or so, where I would teach you a skill or a strategy, and then you would go off as a writer and try that skill or strategy today. Okay? So are we ready, writers? Today, as writers, I want to remind you that writers use their own lives to gather story ideas. We did this really early back in the beginning of the year. And sometimes the very best stories come from our ordinary or extraordinary everyday moments. Okay? And we learned how to map out some seed story ideas, because that's the hardest thing as a writer, right? Just to come up with ideas. Once we come up with ideas, I think it's a little bit easier to start getting our thoughts out on paper. So, in order to do that, let's think back a little bit to what we learned earlier in the year, okay? We practiced finding different ideas for true stories by thinking of a person who matters to us, thinking of a place that we may go and visit often that matters to us, or an object that we keep close that reminds us of certain memories that matter to us. Then we would map out small moments, choose one, and start writing a story for that idea. Now, today, I want you to add one more way to find an idea for a true story by not only thinking of a person, thinking of a place, or thinking of an object, but today we can add one more to our list and start thinking of our feelings. Since so many of us have been feeling many different emotions lately with everything that's happening around us. So I would start out simple and I would just start listing some of the emotions that I would feel. So I would think back about my feelings over the past few days. I might ask myself what made me laugh, what made me cry, what made me want to scream and pull my hair out. And then I would turn those moments of emotion into my very own story. So I'm going to take that first emotion of laugh and I would just write laugh as the emotion. And I would list some small moment stories, some reminders of things that made me laugh lately. One was just yesterday when my brother sent a picture on our family group text of him burning popcorn. How could you burn popcorn? So I might write a story about how that conversation went with him. So my brother, and it wasn't Ferris, it was Elias, burning popcorn. Another thing that made me laugh recently was trying to teach my mom from a distance how to use her phone to place online grocery orders. So teaching my mom how to place online orders. Pretty funny because my mom is just used to using her phone in the most simple way. And then I might start thinking, let's see, is there anything else that made me laugh? Oh, just the other day, I saw my neighbor chasing after his cat. So my neighbor chasing his cat. It was pretty funny because he couldn't keep up, and I guess the cat was really excited to get out. So those are some emotion. That was one emotion, a laugh emotion, that some small moment stories that made me laugh. Another might be cry. Okay? There have been some things lately that kind of just made me want to pull my hair out and scream, like, are you serious? Is this really happening? The very first thing that happened recently was when I had to cancel my trip to Chicago. That made me pretty sad. Another thing that made me sad, and I know you all will understand this since you all know how much I love going to the beach, when they closed the beaches. That made me pretty sad and made me want to cry. Another thing is not being able to see my family. Able to see my, family. Let me push this down. Since my family is in New Jersey and I'm staying here, I'm not able to go see them. So that made me pretty upset. So then, now that I have all these ideas written down, now I can pick from one of these moments to start my own entries. Okay, so now it's your turn. Why don't you try it? Grab a piece of paper. If you don't want to grab a piece of paper and you want to use your device, you can also go to Google Docs and start a new document on Google Docs, and you can title it Generating Ideas, just the way I did here. And then you can start either, you don't have to pick feelings, okay? That's just one more tool that I gave you today. You can start thinking of a person, a place, an object, and now even feelings, okay? And just start listing those small moment story ideas, okay? While I was doing some of the modeling, you may have already had some ideas going on in your own mind of things that are happening in your day-to-day life that you want to jot down as seed ideas. So take some time before you start writing, just jot some ideas down just the way that I did, okay? And then once you are done generating some of your ideas, you would so this is 1. Make your list the way that Miss Picori did here, okay? Then start mapping out small moments. Think of those story ideas the way that Miss Picori did here, okay? Then choose one and write a story about it. So look over your list of generating ideas and decide which one really speaks to my heart that I want to write about. So I may choose this one. So I would circle it and then right underneath, just start writing, okay? Give it a try, writers. Remember, generate your ideas first and then start writing. You can write for 20 minutes. If you are done writing earlier than 20 minutes, reread your story, okay? Or have someone else at home reread it for you. And then you can move on to another story idea to write. Don't forget to share your fabulous stories with me. I can't wait to read them.